Yo, what's up there, peeps? Oh, I can't do that. Sorry, I can't do that fake accent. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all good. Sorry for a little bit delay this morning, but I stayed up a bit late to obviously watch what Alfred was up to. And what a wild night for those poor people on the Gold Coast in Brisbane. And of course, with Albert. Here I go again. Alfred doing his usual tour of southeast Queensland. Of course, it wasn't as clear cut as everything might out to be. He did have that little north-south wobble, but let's have a look where he is now. We can see, and I'll just make this a bit larger for you guys. We can see he's still doing his tour of the Sunshine Coast now. He's actually downgraded to a tropical low, but he still has quite actually good structure. In fact, he's pretty got better structure now than he's had for as a tropical cyclone. Got a beautiful little clear-cut eye there. We'll zoom into the radar for you. Just want to show you the broader sort of picture. We can see it's still got these great inflow bands here from the east pouring right around in and pummeling into northern New South Wales. And you can see there's still heavy rainfall right about it's moving now, it's contracting now towards the middle and northern Gold Coast and definitely into the Brisbane, southern Brisbane, southwestern Brisbane, up into obviously the valley areas, which will be a concern for the flooding if it's strong enough. Now we'll look at his forecast in a minute. We'll see what it's going to do, but also look at what implications there is for us because obviously he crossed the coast earlier. He's back off the coast again, but is there a chance for him to re-intensify? I would say not, but that structure is still pretty crisp and connected, isn't it? It's very cyclical, and it's more symmetrical than he's been in his whole life. All right, let's go and have a look a bit closer to him. See if we can get what the radar's picking. So you can see very clearly where he is there, just off the top of Cape Morton. He's still got some very strong banding, especially across this southern areas here, which is basically what he's had his whole life. Which goes to show there's still quite of that dry air and that vertical wind shear still buffering around. We'll look at the information from the Bureau again and JWC if they're still picking it up. And it's still not heading back towards that coast like they're expecting. He's just sitting there. And I imagine there's gusty conditions right up on that Sunshine Coast and also through Brisbane at the moment. We'll have a look at the Doppler now. Yeah, so the winds aren't as strong or severe, so that's definitely good. You can see very clearly there's still that low level vorticity. In fact, probably what you're picking up there is maybe more that stacked vertical vorticity that we've talked about a number of times, which just goes to show that his core above the surface is still quite strong and still powering away. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to look at the 3D radar today. We should have looked at that last night, but I was too busy. The 3D radar wouldn't be that good for this because, as I said, tropical cyclones are basically very surface sensitive. But you can see here very nicely as it picks it up. And don't forget, this won't loop because it's a static image. But if we turn on to the velocity, which is the wind side of things, the Doppler side of things, you can see what I was talking about. Like the winds don't go up that far at all. It is very much just swirling around the surface. And it's pretty also there's not a lot of cloud up there, so the Doppler's not going to reflect a lot off. But let's have a look. We can see just a bit of those. There it goes again. The eye wall side of things, and we'll see what is going on. If you're up the GC way at the moment, or you do have friends and family, please let me know in the comments if A, first of all, they're okay, but B, if there's any damage around the area, what they experience. It got very hectic last night from what I could see. I watched it quite a bit of time. As you can hear, I'm a bit nerdified this morning, but these weaker or low category cyclones can actually be a lot more dangerous so far as flooding and that sort of stuff goes because they can tend to be slow moving. Wait, stop flicking between that and this, will you? And they can just persist a lot longer. See, the Doppler doesn't really. Yeah, there it is. Right, okay, we got him. So there it is. You can see he starts quite vertically. So you can see there's good strong winds right up here, and we're looking here like this is where again, yes, he's still stacked vertically. And this is what hopefully this gives you an idea now what the Bureau and the JWC were talking about, and I was waffling on about. So you can see here this area of no winds here. That's basically where his low level circulation is. Then you can see the winds here. And different layers of winds wrapping around. You can see it's still quite reasonably strong, given that he's still just wobbling away, but not as much as they were last night. In fact, we could probably actually look at last night. That is a great idea. Why didn't I think of that last night? Let's go and have a quick look. 12 UGMC was about 11:30. So that was when it was about crossing, wasn't it? So maybe what was on live was about that same time, wasn't it? We'll have a look around then and see what it picked up then. Okay, so there we go. So yeah, he's definitely crossing then. So we might go just a little bit earlier and just see if we can pick up his core structure and just see if we can have a good comparison. Okay, there's that beautiful sort of eyewall scenario we were talking about last night. Let's check that out. And you'll see what I'm saying about very much a surface-based sort of type thing. You know, your tropical warm chord lows are beautiful. Here we go. So beautiful. So there you go. So great. So it gives you sort of an idea. And I was talking about the eye last night, and there's sort of strong winds. You can see. Let's go. It's pretty way there. You can see that just big gap there. That's his eye. You know, it's from 062. Now that's height. It's going from 52 to. So it was about 20, 30 k's wide, his eye, at one stage. There, see zero winds whatsoever. And you can see there's very strong surface winds here, but not much above the surface. And that's classic sort of signature for warm chord systems. That's why I was saying he was intensifying. He was actually transitioning back to more a symmetrical warm chord, proper tropical cyclone before he hit the coast. And that was probably they dodged a bullet. And you can see here to the south where that massive sort of bar of convergence was. You can see here extremely strong winds. And you can see that really just stacked up into the atmosphere, and just classic. So this is like an East Coast low type profile here, where you got strong winds at the surface, but even stronger winds above the surface, and it's quite unusual for a cyclone. I mean, you're looking at 4 kilometers up there. That's incredibly unusual. And then you go over to here, you get more of a classic sort of cyclone signature, as you can see, you know. Strong winds in the surface, and then basically they ease in the way up, and you've got this big gap and hole where the eye or the low level vorticity sort of, you know, that's where its exhaust pipe or engine room is, and you can see there's not much there at all. And so just a good old weird little old system after it was. All right, let's go back to radar. We'll keep it going, and we'll have a look now at the latest warnings and see where he is and what he is doing. Because again, actually, let's look at some rainfall first. Sorry, I'm still half asleep. Alright, so we'll go back to, it's not 9 o'clock there, is it yet? No. Let's have a look at some accumulations. So you can see what I was saying last night, some massive falls, 150, and it's probably going to be more than this because the winds would have definitely interfered with the radar's ability to pick up, you know, exactly what rain fell. But this is just an indication. You've got 300 millimeters down across the border, towards the border here around Springbrook, and so that's going to be really pumping not only the Tweed River, but anything that sort of flows into the Gold Coast as well. And the other good thing is that, again, this area down here did dodge a bullet, and because he's gone a bit north and away, I still really am hopeful that Lismore is going to really dodge a massive bullet. Yeah, it's probably going to get close to the levee, but I'm just so hopeful that it's going to miss. But you can see here right across, you know, and all those people were saying, oh, we don't get much. I think last night they would be going, oh yeah, this cyclone is pretty interesting, isn't it? Because there's substantial, massive rainfall right here, and there's going to be some pretty much flooding, and I bet you the beach is looking a bit dodgy this morning. I haven't checked, so if you've had a look and let me know in the comments what the poor old Gold Coast is looking like. But again, you can see pretty massive falls, and if we go, I won't be able to look at the accumulations yet because it obviously hasn't hit 9 a.m, so I may post that a bit later. We'll just see how much I've had across the whole sort of period of time, gets us some good ideas. But if I can do it 24 hours, and it'll just give me nearly 400 mils there, I saw. Incredible 400 millimeters in this area. That's just going to flood down there. Poor old Tweed and Coolangatta are going to get absolutely ravaged. Give me some major flooding down there, I imagine. Yeah. See what that does to them. See what it does when it adds up to these accumulations after 9 o'clock. I'll post that later for you. Alright, so this is very kind of see as I before I logged off last night when he was just crossing the coast, and of course, again, we were one of the first pages that actually flagged it. Got on my scissor, so I thought, he's starting to cross. And I thought, better than just doing a post, let's get on and talk to people live, because the longer it takes me to post that stuff, I could have been halfway through and waffling. And you can see also here that he did then have that north-south wobble, which the Bureau accurately and really well pointed out by whoever the Met was that picked that up. Um, but they were still a bit further north than anybody expected. So now, if I remember, that was pretty where Icon picked it, was it not? Interesting, good old Icon outplaying most of the main models over this whole thing. In fact, we can probably check if we really wanted to. Well, we can do a quick verification. Let's have a look. I'm pretty sure it was Icon that picked that up, that little wobble to the north. We'll just go surface, winds, and we'll go Queensland, Brisbane's regional zoom, that'll do it. And we'll go back to 12Z. I'm just going to give it to us, it's pretty good to go. Alright. You can sort of see where it is there. And at 1 o'clock, it's gone grey because it's pretty outdated. It's pretty just struggling now to give me the actual past. The poor this site got absolutely slammed. You know what I might try? I might try to trick it by doing max wind surface. That might do. Here we go. And we'll just give it an idea. Nah. It ain't going to play ball because it's going for these functions are for 24 hours. I forgot. There's got to be a way I can trick this in. Maybe I tried that low forecast track. Try it for last night. No, it's giving me as of this morning. Oh, come on. There's got to be a way I can trick you. Try this maybe. MSLP. So there he is there, which is about where he was at the right time. And let's see if it's going to give me a product. It's probably not. It's probably going to freak out because it thinks it's not yesterday, it's today. Yeah. Boo. Boo for you, Icon. Boo, boo, boo. Well, let's see how good if the Bureau was close enough, though. We should be able to get it to this. It should be able to have MSL precip. Yeah, precip should actually. Now let's make sure we're on 12. So Access C, the Bureau's product, was pretty damn spot on for 10 o'clock. Just it was pretty a little bit over, but that's pretty much good. We're gonna go for 11. Yeah. Not bad, Access C. Almost now the path to the T. Impressive. Love it. Look at that. Almost exactly where he is right now. In fact, it's exactly where he is right now. I mean, it is 8 o'clock up there. Oh, it's almost 9 o'clock there now. Yeah, it's almost 8 o'clock there now. And that's supposedly, if we were to look at radar and that sort of stuff now, I think he's just over here a little bit. That's impressive. Nice work, Access C. All right, let's go back. I'm just waxing lyrical with you now. And we'll go back and put the radar on because you can't really see much of vorticity. There's just really not much of a low-level circulation there, but it's still hammering down those areas, especially that sort of southern Brisbane, northern Gold Coast area between Coomera and basically Brisbane Airport. Copying and this is where the main band of convergence is now. So even though he's a tropical low, he's still pushing against the the main systems to the south, which is that ridge that's pushing up. So you can see this is what's causing that squeezing. Let's look at let's have a look at satellite now and see how he looks this morning. This is where it gets annoying because he's like really in between all of the beautiful little zones these guys have got on there. Start looking. You know what? It's actually better to just pull up Wendy and have a look that way, because that way I can at least zoom in. There we go. So there he is this morning. You can see there's that little circulation, fresh storm here. This is interesting, this mass here. Where is that going? And why is that not looping for me? Oh, because it's too big. I'm going to go back to... What? Did it just crash? No. Ah, because dude, it's got the full screen. God me, wake up, wake up, wake. All right, let's have a look. We'll see how much visible we've got. Whenever. So fresh storms here. Now that's interesting. So you can see there he's actually traveling back towards the east, and these fresh convection. That's going to worry the bureau, because often these stuff will actually suck back low level vorticities back towards it, because obviously where there's massive storms like that, air is rising. Of course, where air is rising, this will seek refuge, and you can see that's clearly where there's low vertical wind shear, there's better moisture, there's no dry air. I don't know how confident they are that he's going to go back towards the west. And you're saying, I was telling you before about how that system to the south is driving it. Here it is here. You can see it beautifully picked up. Look at that. So that scaly looking cloud is that high pressure system in the ridge. And you can see the interaction is sort of lying basically across between, that's Alfred's sort of outer bands, and this is that sort of interacting. So that's what's causing us to get a bit more weather and sort of grey sort of weather today. And you can see the moisture's coming from way out past New Zealand. And just pouring into us, and Alfred's helping it squeeze. Unfortunately, not giving much rain. Look at that storm over South Australia. That's unusual too for this time of year. That is interesting. Normally, so where a good guy for cyclone forecasting I've always found is look where lightning is. It often well, not often, it does show you where the storm is, like this low level vorticity is moving, because it's where the air has been squeezed the most, effectively. And now we all know he's wobbling around. I just wonder how confident they are of a westward track, because that there looks like he's moving more east. Now, wouldn't that be a turn for the books? He went back out east again and reformed. Sure, that's not on, but that's pretty aggressive. I zoom there. That's extremely aggressive convection. Look, you can see these little fingerlings of lines here. That's poled outflow trying to get going, and this little curve band here, that's poled outflow re-establishing itself. Wow. Definitely keep an eye on that. That will pee people off. Like, he's supposed to be over land and buggering off by now. And it's pretty not going to be good for us, I think, timing-wise. We'll see what the models are trying to cope with at the moment. I mean, he's still quite weak, you can see, but there's that fresh storm on the eastern side here. You can see bubbling away right there. It's just starting to explode off the Moreton Bay Islands. And then here, as I said, normally where the squeezing is happening, that's where he's going. That's some big storms right off there. That is interesting. Alright, we'll keep an eye on that. Let's have a look at the models, what they're going to guess for us. Let's go. So it's EC. Let's see what he's going to have with he's hanging around the coast, and then he's going crossing land. Well, he's still on the coast, according to EC. Still hanging around the coast here. And then finally moving in, you can see that band of rain and wind there, just persisting. Now it goes to the Sunshine Coast turn. And you can see the influence of his outer circulation and the new ridge from the south building. You can see this squeezing here. This is why those storms are rainy here, where he's pushing against that southern system. But EC then has him, there he is there, he's back. Let's put back on winds actually, because it's pretty easy to see that way with winds, the circulation wise. He's washed out. He's still in southern, so southwestern Queensland there, just very, very sloppily. There he is there, still wobbling away. And the ridge has come through and just absolutely just stripped and ripped into pieces. And it is all over Red Rover for any chance of coming to see us by the looks of that. Yep, there's definitely a ridge pushing. You can see that strong bloody northeasterlies ripping down off the coast. You can see the high pressure here. Just no, that's low actually, but it's, I don't know what that's. It's probably just a consequence of the next system coming through. It's definitely not low, because you can see it's both sides. Yeah, it's just been sucked into the next system. Alright, well, EC has written us off altogether. Let's see what the old GAFS is saying. What does it say it is now? Because normally if you check where the system is now, it gives you a good idea about how accurate they are. Yeah, so he's already completely wrong. He's nowhere near where that is. Still going into northern New South Wales, still going. Still wants to keep going. And then that next trough just shreds into pieces, yeah. And that would be at his mid levels where he's been powering along and keeping him alive. Of course, the trough would actually rip those to pieces. You can see, I mean, he's sort of loosely there, but not really loosely there. It's more just like a leftovers. No, good night, Irene, for Alfred too, according to GFS. That's a worry for any chances for us. Alright, we'll look at Icon and then we'll check Axis out. So let's see where Icon thinks he is right now as of this morning, because that gives us again a good idea. So Icon's close to the money, but not on it. So remember, he's about there, so it's about 50, 100, 50k is wrong, which is not bad, but still important in the scheme of things for timing. Let's skip to the Sunday, we don't care what he does there. So he's going along to the west, still there in southern Queensland, still sort of struggling along. This is sort of him here, starting to unwind though, as that next system comes through. You know, he's very elongated, but he's still there. Wow. So that extra sort of wobble is going to just end poor old Alfred's life for us, and any chance for us as well. You can see it just destroys him, shreds him to pieces. So really attacks that mid-level vorticity and really knocks it to pieces. Alright, well, Icon has abandoned us as well. Let's see if Axis joins in the parade of sycophants. Alright, so Axis is probably the only one at the moment who's actually really nailed the location this morning. And don't think this model is actually based upon 12Z data, so it was actually taken around as he was crossing the coast last night. So this is pretty impressive by Axis. Absolutely impressive. Look at that. Just about bang on exactly where he is right now. And those winds as well. And this is that convergent band I was telling you about. That's where the storms are forming. You can see there's obviously a lot more moisture in a better environment. Still sitting there. Then he gets that wobble. That's interesting. Back to a period of sustained gales for poor old northern Gold Coast and Brisbane, especially Brisbane. That's going to be pretty nasty. Squeezes it again. Look at that. Finally starts to wind down. Alright, thank you. That's going to be, especially that Brisbane area, that's going to get pretty hectic for them for a while. Alright, Axis, be the hope of hopes. Be our Luke Skywalker in the evil empire. Okay, so it's in northern New South Wales. So Axis has got him a bit further south than anyone else at this stage at Monday. Oh, there you go. Axis still loves us. Yay, someone loves us. 1 out of 4 models, though, I got to say, is a risk. But again, he's the only one who's got the position right so far. So, yeah, that's a hype. There you can see that lovely little curve, that Nike curve, that massive amount of strong winds, and then that flick. So it's driving. It's bringing all this moisture here from the Tasman and Coral Sea. So northern Tasman, southern Coral Sea, and well out in the Pacific, drives it down and then flick over us. So, what does it do? Still has a flick there a little bit. Starts to get that little nice bit of a vorticity. Okay, so it's still it tries to develop back off the coast, and then the ridge comes through and just slams it away. But it's the one that got closest to us. You can see just what I'm talking about, hopefully visually, and I'll just bring it back up. So you can see here, this next change coming. Look at that. And ridge. That's the ridge. So, the southerly changes, often people think it's actually a trough. It's actually not. The trough is normally ahead of it, and then the ridge pushes behind it, and this is actually the edge of the ridge. Look at that. It's just a solid band of southerlies, and it is going to just rip poor old Alfred to shreds, which is, you can see what it's going to do. So as it pushes, as it's not even close, you can see it's still far enough away. The environment's conducive for him to get going, so he gives that nice little flick. Tries to develop a trough. You can see here, there. But then you can see this starting to push through. Now, if I was to show you probably the layers, what am I doing? So I've got to go winds and then altitude here. You probably get a better sort of 3D picture of what's going on above it. So there you can see there's that trough, the trough ahead. That's that's sort of ex-Alfred's remains. You can see that that mid-level stacked vorticity is no longer stacked. It's sort of slanted and a bit wobbly and crooked, but he's still got enough to sort of fire him up. Then if I was to go a bit higher, there is the mid levels, and you can see there's that trough, that ridge coming through in the mid levels, and so that's what's going to absolutely kill it off. So you can see that weakness. Alfred's trying to go down this weakness, but then behind it, this is going to and straight on. I bet you that's actually pretty dry air. Let's have a look at the humidity. Where are we? Switch on brain. Yeah, incredibly dry air. You see that's moisture, incredibly dry air of the ridge. That is what's going to absolutely shred him. So I bet you that can go forward, and then it goes and just whacks into pieces. And you see then this is the ridge and change coming through, and poor Alfred's just like gone, gone, gone. Yeah, so unless he gets down to the coast, so I think Sunday sort of night, and off the coast, then he has really no chance. Because you can see the environment ahead of him. He's still battling that dry air, but you can see he follows this nice moisture plume down, which is probably half his remains as well. He's sort of dragging his own, so you can see there's plenty of moisture for him now. He's dragging it with him, and he deflects all that shitty dry air that's above the surface, and he's like, oh yes, look at that. And he brings, that's how he actually changes your environment. Look at that absolute plume of moisture he drags with him, and tries his best, but this ridge coming from the south is just too strong, and destroys him. Oh well, that's not looking that good news for any of us anymore, but we will see what the rainfall forecast. Have a look. We shall do axis because I think it's probably going to be there you go. So let's go in and have a look for us and the Hunter. So you can still see that, let's go across to, we'll start at the weekend. You can see there's not a lot of falls today. Let's go into tomorrow. You can still see there's not a lot of falls. The Blue Mountains are getting some good orographic effect. That's what that is there. This is the core of Alfred here, starting to move down. As we get into Sunday night, early Monday, you can see Alfred's core starting to move into the upper Hunter. The Barringtons are getting some good rain. Upper Manning's mid-north coast are getting some good rain. This is again orographic effects. There's a few little showers around for us. And then into Monday, we see that that little flick starts to develop. You can see that, and it starts to really increase the rain and showers for us on Monday, early Monday morning. And you can see really starting to pick up Monday, where it falls to 20 mils already early Monday morning. And what we'll do is we'll just zip this along now. So we'll get from Monday, because Monday's obviously going to be the key period for us, Sunday night, Monday. You can see here what that little flick does, we're going to Wednesday. So if axis comes off, big falls right through Hunter. I would say now probably not as much a flood worry for anywhere now, to be honest. This will be a pretty good day and a half of good rain, but I don't think it's going to be sufficient enough to really cause any rises. There might be some minor stuff up in the Hunter, because it's just such a big collection in area, like the big catchment. Again, as I showed you last night, you basically Dunedoo, and sort of Dunedoo put it on the wrong side. So Merriwa here, you can see the very edges of the creeks here, Merriwa. So anywhere that sort of line, and goes down to sort of Candos. It's on the eastern side of Candos. The southern side of Candos goes into to the Nepean. So that's on our side of things. But you can see here, so the collection area for the Hunters sort of around this area, across that ridge, and around that sort of area there. You can see there's quite a lot of falls just concentrated in the Hunter Valley area. So it could cause the Hunter to push up the minor, depending on how wet the ground and stuff like that. And it's just over a day and a half, don't forget. And then that's pretty the end of it for everybody. After that, you can see there's not a lot of rain coming after that, but still 150 mils total. It'd be better than what we're going to get from the other systems I get. But if we put it out to basically from today, I think we'll go through to Wednesday as the end of it. I think because that's where we showed him dying. I think we'd be all pretty happy with the max of 150 mils. We actually got it. Some good falls, and being selfish across Sydney, looks like we all get a good fall. Sydney likes over 100 mils for all of us, which is definitely an indication of that sort of Nike tick. And even the Illawarra gets some good falls as well, and that would be helped by their escarpment. And the only place that sort of misses out is the sort of northeast Hunter, Newcastle, but the rest of you guys also get some good falls. As I said, I think that lowers the risk of flooding quite dramatically. There pretty obviously some localised flash flooding, that sort of stuff, because if it sort of falls within a day and a half, it's still going to be a bit wet, but I don't think there's going to be sufficient accumulation and ongoing accumulation to really worry the hunter now looking at that. And for us the same as well, I don't think there's anywhere worried for the Nepean Hawkesbury at all. Most you can see the falls are in the lower catchment, as you can see, and aside from usual flash flooding in those sort of low-lying places, even the falls here are on the eastern side of the catchment. There's not much in the actual catchment itself, so I think we're all good. So if this comes off, I think this is a win-win. We don't have to worry those poor people who live on that Hawkesbury River, Nepean catchment, or also the Hunter, but also we still get some good falls, which is what we deserve. So fingers crossed it's going to be access. Now let's look at the depressing story of EC, and you can see the dramatic difference already. Dramatic difference. This is not even worthwhile sort of covering. Not much at all. GFS, I would imagine, would be a little bit different because it had that sort of stuff down here. If you don't remember, but that's coastal. Some good falls down on the coast, and that's because he had that sort of weak don't forget, he sort of went off the coast here and had a bit of a spin for a little while before getting shredded. But this is actually quite depressing for everybody. Some still good falls in the Upper Hunter though. I'm sure they'll be appreciative of getting 40 to 50 mils, or 30 to 50 mils. That's definitely inland here. We obviously a bit more of a concern for them. 130 mils, 90 to 130 mils for that sort of catchment areas is pretty going to cause them some small issues, not major issues. All right, and last but not least, let's look at Icon. So good news, Icon has still some good falls. There's still some great falls in the Upper Hunter. So, if you're taking the average of the models away, I think the Upper Hunter is going to do pretty good out of this. Whether it causes any flooding, possibly minor, but I don't think it's going to be at this stage unless the Hunter is already, running pretty raging. Because you see, there's not a lot in the Barringtons, and it's not on the eastern side of the Barringtons either, which is what you really need, I guess, to start worrying. And again, the same for the Manning Valley. There'll be some good inflows, but most of the stuff is to the west, and that will drain sort of away. Although this stuff here will drain down the Hunter, but you see, it's the actual. It's not a massive, sort of area. And again, up to 120 mils over a few days isn't going to worry a lot of places. That's it. All right, we'll quickly check out the what is going on with the Bureau's updated. So just updated right now. You can see that little northeast kink that I was telling you about, and they're still going to dramatically go west after that. So we'll see. Let's refresh this. Oh, they haven't put in no advisory out, so it says we don't check. Well, they still do that. And anyway, we've got to go and check the other products now, which seems a bit superfluous. Alright, so it says check marine products. We'll check this. I think severe weather warning is pretty going to cover it. But it won't give us updated stuff. It's just going to say it's going to happen. So this is interesting. Alright, we'll go back and check his technical bulletin if they're still available. Haven't done one since 6 o'clock, which is a bit disappointing. Data at 8:20 UTC, so that's old. Issued at 8:30 UTC, that's old. Actually no. What is it now? It's 8 o'clock in Gold Coast, isn't it? It's 9 o'clock here, and 0 UTC is 11, so it's 10. So yeah, it's 2 hours old already. But they're still going for that push west. Let's see what they say. Doing another loop. Spread across mainland coast between Maroochydore and Bribie Island this morning. Gales north of Brisbane have eased. Position is based on radar imagery. Curve band with a wrap of 0.25 in the convection on the southern side, which shows it's still quite strong. Met estimate is 2.0 Duval rate, which is basically like a deep tropical low. And they're saying that the 45 knot gusts winds, 139 knot gust winds. Satcon is 47 knots, Guster 1's 44 knots, and Sounders is 50 knots. So they're basically averaging at 30 knots based on nearby surface observations. That's what the AWS is. So Ex-Alfred is expected to move westward today, being steered by a high in the Tasman Sea. Wind should east further over land. Ex-Alfred is expected to cause heavy rain areas over southeast Queensland and northeast New South Wales during the weekend. which we saw was going to do. So you can see it's really being predominantly driven by that sort of autumnal system that is coming, I must say. And if we go back and have a quick look at the sidebar, that next high looks absolutely ginormous, I must say, insofar as us and our forecast weather. Let's have a look at what our outlook's going to be. So today I think we can expect, what I said, between 23 to 26 gusty showers, and they will start to depending on which model you believe. Icon still wants to give us showers, but I don't trust you anymore, Icon. You've screwed us over. Alright, what's Axis saying? It's saying pretty much the sort of on-off showery stuff. You can see that sort of bluey, smeary crap. And then it's showing that really good heavy sort of rain as it starts to develop. Pretty late Sunday, early Monday. But I was more looking at what that high brings for us, because I reckon it's going to bring some cool temps. Yeah, there you go. 20s, low 20s. As I said, look very autumnal. I mean, we do get a tick back for next weekend to a bit more warmer temperatures, back to sort of more summery-like temperatures. So I guess we'll see. What is EC? Because it had the ridge probably the strongest. Come on, let's go back this way. I mean, EC does have some showers for us Monday, Tuesday, so I guess it's probably trying to suck up, and it's still backing. It's backing Axis up, and it goes back to sort of some warmer temperatures. So this is interesting. It says that ridge is enough to destroy Alfred and give us no chance of rain, but then it's still enough to be warm. It's contrary. Like, it's either one or the other. You can't have both. But then there's as I was saying, there's a real surge of autumnal weather coming though, and you can see how I was flagging. Look at those patterns. When you get that big pattern of that southerlies we just saw, sort of starting to hang around the south of that. That's very much a transition looking pattern, and some cooler weather starting to come. So pretty enjoying the lower humidity. What is Icon saying? I mean, it sort of says, Monday, Tuesday showers and possible rain periods for us. That's sort of, but not as strong, obviously, because the forcing that's causing it's not there. Yeah, and it gets that cooler sort of, it sort of goes up and down. I don't know. I just don't think that you're going to have that ridge is strong enough to destroy that Ex-TC Alfred, but then not going to cause that cooler pattern. Anyway, we'll see. All right, that is it for today. At this stage, I'll keep an eye on the models, of course, and what Axis is doing, and if it looks like it's going to kick off again, I'll see what the morning models, the 0Zs, I think, because they're sorry, not the 0Z, the 18Z, which is this between this one and this evening's one. So it comes out, and I can show you when. I'll keep an eye on that. If it does sort of give it, I mean, it's a bit of a trashy model, but if it gives an indication that there is going to be sort of a tweak, I'll definitely hop on and give an update. So it's expected about lunchtime. So I'll check about lunchtime. Keep an eye on your notifications, and we'll have a look at what's going on that way. And if it does sort of, they start to pick up, maybe Alfred's tracking differently or something's changed, I'll definitely give you an update about that, and then we'll put a plan in about hopping online again, alive again, and making sure that the hunter and us, we're all looked after, our big family. Hopefully hunter weather comes back soon. Not that I don't enjoy having a hunter people around, but that they've been around that community for so long time, and it'd be great to have them back for their people. All right, I'll get some questions, and I will go back to actually put. Let's get back to the satellite and radar. Just give me a second, then I'll get to your questions. Let's see what the tracker's doing. Yeah, 10 hours ago. You can see Bureau's still going for us. Everybody else hates us. Oh, that's all right. We hate you too. All right, let's go radar here. And satellite picture. We'll get off blue. We don't need blue now. We can have visible because it's wakey time. And we'll keep that looping in the background while I answer some questions. You can see where he is right there. Beautiful, nice little close-up of his pinhole little circulation there. Also gives you an indication just how weak he is. He's really just really struggling. In fact, I think even just down the last few frames, there we go. You see him wobbling back and forward. He may have just been starting to lose his battle with that high. We'll see. Best way to do is keep an eye on their lightning out there. If it's just this convection starts to die off and there's no fresh lightning, you can see then he's going to start heading west any second. And it looks like to me now that he may be even starting to sort of bounce around and wobble around. Just as that last few frames, this little cyclical curve here just starts to edge back to the west there, you see. We'll keep an eye on that for you. Alright, let's go. Questions. Let's do this. Good morning, Mr. Yates. I hope you're well. Good morning, Christine. Thank you so much for those stars. Greatly appreciated. And thank you for your top fan badge as well. Thank you so much for your support. Good morning, Amanda. Same to you. Great to see you. G'day, Natalie. You left Sydney on Tuesday. I'm out of the flats of Toowoomba waiting for a southerly tail. Stay safe, Natalie, because we definitely will get something that way. Thank you so much, Stefan. Lovely to meet you, and congratulations on your 1 year anniversary too. And thank you so much for those stars. It's greatly appreciated. G'day, Kaylee. Good morning to you, Mr. Dine. Good morning. I hope you are fabulous down in downtown Campbelltown. G'day, Paul. Good morning to you. Notice since moving northeast, could have headed out the ocean, gained strength. It's up there as well. I think that he moves a little bit, and so I did flag at the start of the live the possibility of that, but this last few frames says to me like he's losing the battle, but we'll keep an eye on it, of course. Morning, Deborah. Lovely to see you. Thank you for your company last night too. It was great. G'day, Yacey. Good morning to you. Good morning, Sue. Lovely to see you. Hope you're all fabulous. G'day, EJ. How are you? I hope you are fabulous and safe in Brisbane. How was the weather last night? I bet you it looked a bit hectic. It's going to be a bit hectic for you today too. Northern Rivers, yeah. Alfie's the biggest bludger, doesn't know what to do exactly. G'day, Vicky. Mary War. Okay, thank you, Vicky. I was never worried. I always wondered what it was. Mary War. Okay. Mary War. Not very PC, is it? Jokes. Welcome to country. Lol. G'day, Connor. Welcome. Lovely to see you. Definitely moving east. Yeah, definitely thought that it's pushed east there. But I don't know if it's this could be just a calibration issue with the satellite too. That's why I tend to watch the bands and radar as opposed to the satellite picture, because sometimes it does shift around a little bit, bits and pieces. So if the satellite's recalibrating or whatever, the image hasn't sewn together properly, it gives this little wobble, which can give a false impression. It's definitely, I don't know, it's definitely just off that whatever those islands are there. Yeah, I'll definitely keep that eye on. Still fresh lightning to the east, so. G'day, Matthew. Thank you so much. Great to see you, and thank you for being a top fan as well. So greatly appreciated. Hey, Mon. Good morning. I hope you are well. Thank you also for your top fan badge. Lovely to see you. I hope you're doing fabulous. Yeah, as I said, I think it's definitely watching around. It's going to be see if he can win that battle. I mean, he's defied a lot of the odds so far, so I guess we'll see. To be frank, I think the more time he spends out over the less chance he has of doing anything for us, given that next system coming through from the south is pretty significant. Although, stranger things have happened the last few days, as we're known. Models say one thing and then we've seen completely different. So kudos there to Access for absolutely nailing this morning's location. Access has actually performed pretty well if you think about it. All the the global names, and Access has actually done fairly well. It had a bit of a glitch yesterday, I think last night, but I think it even nailed the timing of landfall better than any other system. Congrats to Icon for actually nailing that first sort of part, but then it got lost its way, and then Access said, well, you're not going to do the job, I'll drop it and pick it up to slack. Be interesting to see what post-analysis and reanalysis they do of the models and see which one sort of comes out on top. I wouldn't be surprised if it was sort of an Icon/Access show. I'm disappointed how much EC's handled this. It's been pretty ordinary, I must say, which is unusual for a EC. It's normally very good at picking up these voices. Maybe it's just because it was this hybrid sort of thing. They would never get a hybrid over in Europe at all. they don't get warm chord systems over in Europe just because of where they are. So, you know, not saying they can't obviously model, because they do obviously do the whole world, and they would be used to modeling warm cores around the place. But you know, a hybrid like this would be an unusual situation for any sort of model, as it doesn't happen that often, and it's only in this sort of subtropics where you do get it. I imagine. I mean, I suppose it could in the Atlantic when they have that sort of warm. It's not the Gulf Stream because that's on the American side. Whatever it's called, the current that goes towards the UK, and that's the stuff which gives them, you know, that can give them good snow and stuff, because the sea surface temperature is a lot warmer than the cold air coming down from the Arctic. You know, that could sort of give you a quasi hybrid system, but you know, the cold air above is actually driving it, so it's not truly a hybrid system like this is, which is like, you know, definitely a warm cored surface beast, and then you've got that mid-level, very much a cold core sort of structure. Very unusual situation, and I think that's why Access probably handled it the best, because you know, it's used to dealing with that sort of situation quite often, because we have these quasi sort of hybrid systems all the time, when you get this clash of the warm and the cold air, and the systems take on different characteristics. Still a good case study for someone out there one day, I guess, to have a look at that, but definitely keeping an eye on what he is up to next. Let's have a look what radar the radar product has here. It gives us stop. We'll go here, and that's in. Now we're into the forecast radar. We'll just see what it's saying. Yeah, you can see it reckons it starts to move to the west. You can see how it's moving that radar. So the hatching is where the radar is currently, and then it's saying there should be like the radar, like the forecast and then the models and that sort of stuff, are moving it now to the west southwest. I guess we'll see if it's right or not. I mean, again, I don't know what model they use. This, I know the company is called UMET. I don't know what Shaw models it uses to form that. There's really nothing, no indication on here as to what, and it's sort of washed out. Nowcast.de, so there you go, it's a European product. D. Is that Danish? Nowcast is Denmark. Interesting. Alright, enough slobbering. Any more questions before I bubble off? No, everybody's there. Alright, have an awesome day. As I said, I'll check around lunchtime the models for you to see if there's any change. If there is, keep an eye on notifications. I'll definitely hop on and give you a briefing. Otherwise, it has been a pleasure yet again to have your company. And I will be back if there's more developments. Otherwise, have the best weekend. Take care, and I'm going to leave you with some inspirational, the BBC Orchestra. Right, I don't know if they're called that, but I do love this. It does get me going. And those are people who like Vogue, get out and do a bit of voguing.